I'm Frankie C's, and you're watching Notes, Aperitif's behind-the-scenes interview series featuring Detroit, Michigan's house music community, the producers, DJs, management, the least talked about logistics, media, photography, venue, patrons, and promotions. It is an honor having been granted approval to videotape this segment at the real estate property of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc., located at 269 Erskine, Detroit, Michigan. Thank you. Celebrating the launch of his new record label, Deep Groove, and new album release, Deep Detroit Volume 1, I introduce Mike Todd. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Sierra, how are you?
I'm good. Now, before we get started,
Yes, ma'am.
in this segment, I am introducing my signature coffee cocktail drink, aperitif. Would you like to try
I
it?
would love it.
All right.
This is awesome.
So I'm gonna give you a little ice here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Give you a little bit more ice.
This is so classy, just like you.
Thank you. And this is my signature
Ooh-wee.
drink.
Thank you.
And be honest, tell me how you like it. First, I want to celebrate, make this toast
Thank
to you and all of your success.
I appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice and light.
And it kind of
You
tastes
got
like it
some
has
kick.
chocolate in it, right?
Yeah, with a kick.
But it doesn't.
What's that?
I can't give away my secret now.
You're like my grandmother.
All right.
She give me the recipe, but won't give me the whole recipe.
Now,
Ain't this all?
let's take this to the booth. Front and center as we begin this journey into your life as a DJ producer. Where were you born, grew up, and your introduction to the art of DJing and production, and at what age for both?
All right. Well, I grew up Detroit, Michigan, famous 313, from the west side of Detroit, amongst a lot of prolific DJs and entertainers and everybody in the business. It was just a very beautiful time period back then. It was the late 70s and the 80s. What got me into doing music was really starting off as a toddler, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes. My aunt, she's a lawyer, and she really saw something in me at a young age, and she inspired me. My undergrad is in pre-law and political science, and I took an affection to her personally. So she threw me on to vinyl when I was, I think, 2 or 3 years old.
No.
I kid you not. And I have musical people on both sides of the family. So I started out with the inclination of music really almost from birth. And that progressed forward, even on my other side of the family, where my uncle, my aunt's second husband, I believe, yeah, he, believe it or not, he had 2 turntables and a mixer in his basement in the late 70s and the early 80s.
A mixer.
Yes.
Do you remember what brand?
Yeah, it was a Gemini, a small Gemini mixer. And it blew my mind. I didn't even know what really DJing was at that point, because we grew up as a family playing records all the time. Just, I'm sure that's the pastime in most of our communities and families. But in ours, it was religion. And in our neighborhood, it was religion. Wiping the vinyl, cleaning and playing it. But the inspiration really came from my cousins and my uncle, where we spent the night over at each other's house. You remember that growing up as kids?
Yes.
So every time I was over there, I would play with my cousins, of course, but I would spend a lot of time in the basement messing around with the records. And I don't know why my uncle would allow that, because I would not let my nephews do that. Not the money I spent on my equipment, no way in the world. But I guess he just had a lot of respect for me, and he knew that I really loved it. And what's so interesting about that, and I hope I'm not going on a tangent.
No, not at all.
Is that they would have a lot of parties. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned what I was doing quick, because the people there, and you remember, we called them house parties back then.
Yep.
and basement parties and outside in the backyard. That was really the genesis of most of us as DJs, getting into the field. So the transition from record to record back then, you know, disco, Anita Ward and Function and all those hot records that were live instruments, that was tough to blend that harmoniously. And Detroit being a real, you know, get downtown, you have to know the cadence of folks. So at a young age, I got to appreciate the dance floor experience from early on.
Yes.
And just watching my parents and older people gravitate towards a mood and progress that mood throughout the, you know, the entire get together, if you will, or party. So that really shaped me, and it's led me to a path of understanding the dance floor today. And it's really watching the moves and understanding the ebb and flow of the evening. That happened early on, and I made mixtapes too as a toddler with my friend Terry B, and we sold those for $8. 8 tracks. I don't know if you remember 8 tracks. You might be too young. You don't know about that. See, we made 8 tracks. I know, right?
Okay, wait, hold on. Do you remember what age?
I had to.
8 tracks, really, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
We were in elementary school and middle school, so I don't know, 10, 11, 12. And we sold a lot of those. And that's really what allowed my aunt and uncle to allow me to do that, because they knew that I was doing something worthy, and probably, you know, gave me the latitude to play on their system. But yeah, we sold those things like hotcakes. So we traded records back and forth, my friend and I, and we just became connoisseurs of music, going to the record store on Schoolcraft, because I lived on the west side, even up to Byright too. So all of that shaped my development. Now fast forward to now, you probably answer a lot of other questions that might come back to this one too. You asked about production?
Yes.
Okay, I started that about 5 or 6 years ago, actually. But I didn't release anything until this year. Reason being, I was working a full-time job, and I really don't want to disclose what that was.
Yes.
As you know, from us being in that kind of field together. And so the music was always something I did afterwards and occupied my mind 24 hours a day. So when my father passed, actually 2 years ago to the day, yesterday was
so sorry.
his passing. Thank you. He's in a better place. When he passed, I said, okay, let me do me. And when you see somebody fading to, you know, their final chapter, a lot processes through your head and your soul on accomplishing your goals and getting things done.
Yes.
And not waiting. So that propelled me to get this, out and released this year. And that motivation just made it possible. And with COVID, I had more time.
Yes.
And so I hope that answers.
Yes, it did. Yes, thank you. So now, you know the drill from watching previous interviews.
Oh, yeah.
I have here in my hand my notes.
Okay.
28 questions, of which you have randomly selected 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you have not been given these questions beforehand, correct?
You just told me to write the numbers down.
Okay. So now, let's get down.
Uh-oh, I'm scared. I'm scared being in front of people.
Okay, Mike. Question number 1 is question number 6.
Okay.
The art of DJing. Is it an art form to you?
Of course it's an art form. It's painting on a canvas that's blank and knowing that your creation will be looked at and viewed. So being able to choreograph the right image and what you want to represent and communicate is vital.
Yes.
And that comes with skill. Usually you would want to practice that, right, at home or wherever before you do it in public. But the art form aspect of it is significant because it tells a story. And if your story is a little bizarre or it's great, it's all reflected upon what you demonstrate. And I think the art form aspect separates those who are novice to those who are quote unquote professionals. So maybe interpretation is a word that everybody can throw at art, but for the most part, what's standard in terms of the level of averages, I think we talked about that before, is a common perception that this is really good. So I really believe that the art form aspect is vital for all DJs to understand that you have to communicate the right interpretation.
Okay, so I want to expound on that question a little bit because you mentioned the word canvas, a blank canvas.
Yes.
And I use that a lot when I am in a creative mode. I start out with a blank canvas.
Yeah.
What do you visualize, or what is your vision? If I want to get into that, your new album a little bit.
Okay.
So, blank canvas. And were you visualizing something, or did you have a vision for that entire project before you actually sat down and started putting things on the canvas?
For my production?
For
Or DJ?
The new album.
Oh gosh, yeah, I definitely had a deep impression and vision. My goal was to get out of the karaoke aspect of house music and bring the essence back of real sultry, soulful music. It's easy, to be honest with you, to do music. Most people probably won't even believe that. But even my little kids could probably get on a computer and do music. It might not sound the best, but they produce like 40,000 records a day worldwide.
No.
It's amazing, yes.
40,000.
Yes, and it might even be more than that. It's crazy how many records come out.
Okay.
The difference, though, is good music versus bad music. Anybody who knows folks like Kerry Chandler or Glenn Underground, folks like that know that they use a long process and a very thought-out process to lay out the entire scope of their tracks or their song, and I try to do that as well. So my vision was to bring a dance floor experience that started you on a journey and had pull strings with your soul, and close it out wanting more and more and more. So people who have inspired me, I'll be honest with you, are like Anselane. I'm probably throwing out some big names. Eddie Folks. Eddie Folks has been so instrumental in helping me and encouraging me and letting me find my own path.
Yes.
To be honest. But yeah, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Very, very much so. Thank you.
I'm trying to enjoy your coffee.
Okay. All right. Question number 7, which is question number 2.
Okay.
First vinyl record purchase, and does it remain in your collection?
Gosh, it had to be Michael Jackson. It had to be. Yes. Matter of fact, I have several copies. So wait a minute, that had to be the Destiny album when it was the Jacksons, the whole group, not just Michael Jackson.
Well, now I'm a little bit older than you. So.
When they brought it back, go ahead, educate me, because
No.
Remember
This is your story.
But it was 6 of them on that album.
I know.
From Gary, Indiana.
Do you remember the year?
Oh gosh, you're really stomping me now. It had to be 70 something.
70 what? Can you kind of?
Not on 77, 76, 77. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, so mine was a little bit before.
Oh, okay. I'm dating her and myself.
But I love it. Okay. Question number 3, which is 13.
Okay.
Your phone, is it on or off when you're sleeping?
It's off. It's on vibrate, I'm sorry.
Really? Okay.
It's on vibrate. My former job, it was on.
It was on. Yes. Okay. Question number 4.
That's funny.
Which is 14. What does the expanded journey for you involves? So you have the record label, you're DJing. We're going to get into your residencies a little bit. So is there another aspect to this that you are looking to grow, expand upon, or even go in a whole nother direction?
Right now, I am very family focused, and I really haven't thought past the development and graduation of my last two children.
Okay.
I've been selfish. I've been all over the world doing so much, neglecting the aspect of raising my family. So now that I'm back in the States, and I've been back here for about almost 15 years or so, my concentration has been more with them, and music is definitely my priority, but I've had to understand that they come first.
Yes.
And when they finally graduate from high school, which is probably about three more years, I'll see what's there at that point.
Yes.
Right now, I'm just doing what's from my heart in terms of putting music out, and I get calls all the time. Of course, the DJ all across the country, but in terms of my records now, I'm seeing that has really created a buzz. And so industry people, they know what sells and what's hot. So I haven't been called by like a million people, just a couple right now. But I do see the future where once I can lock in and my kids are good on their own, oh my God, you better watch out.
All right. I love it. And I love self-confidence.
Hey, I hope that's not interpreted as arrogance for some people.
Nope.
I was just born from a hustling, area of Detroit, and my family are all entrepreneurs, running major concerts, owning their own businesses. It's just in our nature to be bosses, if you will.
Yes.
So it's really just self-confidence.
Okay. Now, next question. And I love this question.
Uh-oh.
Because it brings back so many memories for me. But I'm always thinking about tomorrow, where I am now and then tomorrow.
Okay.
Is there a moment in time in your DJ career that you wish that time had stayed a little longer?
A time. Will you clarify that a little bit?
Okay. We always say, I remember when. I remember when.
Oh my God.
One of my most favorable moments was Mike Huckabee's, one of his last sets, TV Lounge, he played Face It. He must have played that song 20 minutes. And what we all felt in that moment, the energy, the love, the togetherness, the unity, it was absolutely amazing. And when I think of all the wonderful moments in my life as a fan of house music, that is by far one of the most memorable. That I wish that everybody was there to experience.
Yeah, Mike was a good guy. Just bringing up his name brings chills.
Yes.
Because that's usually what all I play is, and that if anybody really knows me, when you come and hear me exclusively outside of group DJs, I get real sultry and deep like that. So to answer your question, now you made me think. Combos.
Wow.
That was it. It broke my heart to end that. But I think that outside of like maybe 246, that probably had to be one of the most special moments in the Detroit house history, where hundreds and hundreds of people came out faithfully every week for years, and grew and grew and grew, where people from even out of town would treat that almost like a festival.
Yes.
And just to see, people got married out of that experience. People have had babies. It's from people coming together and meeting. It was magical, and the relationships that were developed to this day started from Combos for a lot of people.
I didn't know that.
Oh my God! If you trace back a lot of people's relationships in the Detroit scene, if you will, a lot of them say, "Yeah, we met at Combos."
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't take that lightly in terms of having experience and moment where all of us that shared it, and that where people really depended on us to bring something special.
Yes.
And for us to deliver wasn't easy, week in, week out for about 4 or 5 years straight. But I think that was it.
Okay. Now, this is your last question, almost to the last.
Okay.
What is your philosophy?
Wow. To end with, to begin with the end in mind. And that comes from a deep military perspective, and to treat people right. What I mean by begin with the end is to envision what you actually want to happen before you start. So don't go in a situation, some DJs prepare songs before they DJ, which I think robs them from the experience of understanding what's right in front of them at the time. So when I begin with the end in mind, I try to understand what the dance floor experience needs to be at the end of a segment, being, the first 2 hours, the second 2 hours, the last 2 hours. I try to envision, okay, where do they need to be? They come in needing some kind of inspiration. You don't know what people are going through, but I want to get them. I want to put them on a journey, and when they walk out that door, I want them to say, "This was some hot stuff." So I begin with that impression that when they walk out the door, they're satisfied. And if I can lock in there before I start, I'm good.
Now, you have made me emotional with that, because for me,
Yes, ma'am.
the magic is what goes on between the fan or patron or dancer and the DJ. And that's where I've always been up front and center.
100.
Yes.
So the philosophy, I got to go back. Even from a governmental military perspective, being trained on, in some crazy scenarios, we all have been told to think of yourself, think of the other person before you think of yourself. And think of your employees and your customers before you think of yourself. So when I see you, my whole mood changes, because I know what you're coming for.
Yes. Thank you.
I do. And I know that I don't care how many people are there. I know certain people who need what they need, and I gravitate towards the people right in front of me. Now, that's why I said earlier, when you come in with 10 songs before you want to DJ, what happens if the DJ before you played those same songs?
Exactly.
Then what are you going to do?
Exactly. So, I'm going to throw in this other question.
Okay. Sorry to ramble.
No, you're not rambling.
You got me motivated.
I absolutely love this. Do you have an element of surprise for your audience?
I don't know.
And that is the last of the surprise questions.
Really? I don't know if I have an element of surprise. I don't know. That's kind of deep. You mean like what? Start waving pom-poms at the end?
It's a question. I'm not giving you any parameters.
I don't know.
But it's pretty straightforward. Do you have an element of surprise for your audience?
Oh man, as long as I cut my hair and look sexy for them. I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna let you off the hook on that one.
Please do.
Okay.
But I'm gonna think over that one. I'm gonna get back with
Yes.
that.
So we're about to wrap this up.
Now you know we don't have the questions beforehand.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And I'm asking this of everyone.
Okay.
What are you learning right now?
And what, from DJing and producing?
Doesn't make a difference.
Oh my gosh. I'm learning that this is the toughest business in the world.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
What makes it tough?
If you want it to be done right, it's tough. If you want it to be professional, it's tough. If you want it to last long, it's tough. If you want people to have a memory past a moment, it's tough. So I guess I say all that to say, you can do anything easy. But where I come from, we do the hard things first, and we do the hardest things. That's just from where I sit in this home, the founding of the Detroit Alumni Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, our founders all the way from 1911 to this present day were the strongest men on earth. We share a legacy of men who have turned nothing into something. And with that mindset, it's really about conquering all your fears and doing what you can for people. But I just come from that legacy of doing the best. But yeah, if you want to be the best at something, it's going to require a lot of work. So I say it in a different way. Me doing the music I'm doing, even balancing it with a family, I'm trying to devote all of my energy into it. But I want to be able to do it where it's quality. So when I do a lot of events, I don't try to saturate the market with 1,000 events. I try to be more qualitative than quantitative, which is easy to do a lot. It's harder to do a few things. Why? Because people expect greatness. And if you have a certain brand of delivering a qualitative experience, people are going to be like, man, why you got paper cups when you had glass the last time? I think you know exactly where I'm going and what I'm talking about.
What comes to mind for me is Charles Hicks.
That's my mentor, yes.
Watching, Charles
I was
has
just over his house yesterday.
a 40+ year history. He brings Soul Night back. And if you look at the promos for it, they are outstanding.
You know I'm DJing
they're
that?
very beautiful. Yes, and we'll get into that.
Oh,
Okay, so
yeah.
I would like to talk a little bit about, if you care to, your album and your record label and your album. If you want to share a little bit with us about.
Just real short and quick. Yeah, Deep Groove Records originated here in Detroit. It really anchors on bringing the jazzy, soulful, sultry house groove back, which I think it isn't necessarily lost. It's just not forefront. You get too much of the choppy, like I said earlier, the karaoke kind of house music, which is fine, don't get me wrong. But my God, you talking about the stuff that just pulls at your soul.
Yes.
That groove. And that's what I've been about all my life. That's why it's called Deep Groove. Because I want to go deep. I want it to be groovy. And that's about it in a nutshell.
Okay.
Deep Groove, baby.
All right. Now, tell us about your current residencies, because I know you have several.
Oh, wow. Yeah. For the last 12 years, I'm worn out, to be honest. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I have been doing this stuff for so long. I've done over 1,000 parties.
No. All right.
Yeah, it takes a lot of wear and tear on you. I'm DJing at Como's this summer again. Good Times, Bar 7. What am I leaving out?
Friends?
Friends. Got Lord Jesus. Yes.
Okay, so
the Apollo of house music in Detroit.
Friends?
Yeah.
Okay, now when are you at Friends?
Every fourth Thursday.
And what time?
From 7 to midnight.
And how about Good Times?
That's every Friday, roughly like 8 to 12 p.m. And on Sundays from 2 to 6.
Oh, 2, okay.
Yeah, we do our special brunch. I was doing Wednesdays there. That's just a lot.
Okay.
I'm trying to scale back, to be honest.
How about Bar 7?
I'll be doing that every Saturday. I'm sorry, every other Saturday.
Okay. And then you mentioned Como, so they're bringing you back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be doing midday Fridays.
Midday Fridays.
It's about 200 or 300 people there at that time. It's amazing.
And so what times are we looking?
Probably 4 to 8.
4 to 8.
It's like a happy hour.
I absolutely love that time too.
Yeah. So we're catching all the traffic for folks who leave a little bit early from downtown or going, Bloomfield or to the suburbs or vice versa. Woodward and 9, that's the busiest intersection in Michigan outside of 12 and Telegraph.
Okay. Now, last, is there anything else you'd like to say or want us to know about you?
Yeah, if you're in a group and you think you want to do your own thing, don't hesitate. I'm in a group. I'm in a few groups, but I would tell DJs, don't be held back from doing the best of you, because either you're scared or you feel like you need to ride coattails. You know, be your own person, be your own boss, and you will notice that if you follow what's inside you, your dream will come true.
I agree, 100%. And how can people follow you via social media?
Wow, there's several sites, but deepgroove.com gives you everything. That's with a U.
Okay.
GRUV, deepgroove.com, or mytodd313.com. It'll get you there as well. But I have Bandcamp. My releases are out worldwide. TrackSource, Beatport. Just type in DJ Mike Todd or Deep Groove, and you'll catch me everywhere.
Awesome. And your website, by the way, is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's
A
just
lot of work.
packed with information.
Sarah, I think I'm probably the male version of you. You are. I'm being serious. When I do things, I have to look. I think of my mom. I think of people like you. I'm like, because I hear their voices. Boy, you better not go third class, second class. You was not raised that way. So I try.
Okay.
Y'all wearing me out though. Oh, y'all.
You're making me blush. All righty. Mike Todd will be featured at TV Lounge's Happy Hour this Thursday.
It's gonna be nice.
April 14th from 6 to 9, Lounge to Deep House. I, Frankie C's, look forward to seeing you over cocktails, appetizers, chill, conversation, or what I love to do, hit the dance floor. It really is all about being happy while enjoying delicious entertainment. A TV lounge and aperitif promotion. There is so much more to come, and collaborating with others across Detroit house music community is a primary focal point. Thank you for watching, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you.
Love you, Sierra.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Shout out to Cap Alpha Psi for hosting this.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.